Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this newspaper analysis initiative. These are the articles that are important from today's newspaper. We will move on to the first article. See, the first article for the day, India and the EU, a fit partnership in a divided world. See, this article is basically saying one clear thing. India and the European Union need each other more than ever, and this is the right time to deepen their partnership. Why is this partnership important now? The world is becoming uncertain and divided. The US is becoming unpredictable, China is becoming more assertive, and Russia's war has changed global equations. And India recently faced tariffs and harsh words from the US, even over India buying oil from Russia. And this has shown India that old friendships don't always guarantee support. Europe understands this feeling because it too has suffered from over dependence on Russian gas, Chinese markets, and American security protection. So, both India and the EU are realizing one thing, they need strategic autonomy, meaning the freedom to make their own decisions. See, the India EU FTA has been struck since 2007. The article says treat the FTA as geopolitical insurance, not just a trade deal. If done properly, it can help India export more textiles, medicines, chemicals, IT services. Europe sells more cars, machinery, technology in India. Create jobs and economic growth on both the sides. So, what is a big problem in the FTA talks? The EU's carbon border adjustment mechanism, that is the CBAM. In simple words, the European Union charges extra taxes on Indian steel, cement, aluminium, etc., claiming climate reasons. India feels this is unfair and acts like a hidden trade barrier. And India wants climate justice, not punishment. The article says Europe should show flexibility, otherwise, the FTA loses its meaning. See, trade is important, but defense cooperation is even more sensitive and crucial. The European Union wants a security and defense partnership with India similar to what it has with Japan and South Korea. This would mean joint defense production, technology sharing, military exercises, and cooperation in the Indian Ocean. For India, this supports Make in India and reduces dependence on one single country. See, India and the European Union can become a model partnership in a divided world. Their shared belief, like no country should dictate their decisions. Sovereignty matters. Partnerships should be balanced, flexible, and respectful. They don't want Beijing, Moscow, or Washington to have veto power over their choices. So, India and the European Union have credibility, economic and strategic strength, have common interest. And if they act decisively and avoid bureaucratic delays, they can strengthen multilateralism, support a multipolar world, and reduce global dependence on any single power. See, the next article for the day is Right to Dignity. Governments must ensure equitable pay for ASHA workers. This article is talking about ASHA and Anganwadi workers and why the government is treating them unfairly even though they do extremely important work. Who are ASHA and Anganwadi workers? They are frontline workers who help with maternal and child health, nutrition, vaccinations, surveys, and government welfare schemes at the village level. In simple words, many government schemes work only because of them. So, what are they protesting for? In West Bengal, they are demanding rupees 15,000 per month as wages and recognition as proper workers, not volunteers. They are protesting because they are paid very little and they don't have job security, no pension, gratuity, or regular employee benefits. So, what is the main injustice? From the beginning, governments have deliberately avoided calling them employees. In the 1970s, Anganwadi workers were denied worker status. Later, they were called scheme workers, and ASHA workers were labeled as activists. So, why does this matter? If they are not called employees, labor laws don't apply to them. In 2010s, a labor conference recommended regular jobs, minimum wages, pension, and gratuity. So, what made things worse? In 2015, the ICDS budget was cut. In 2018, the center froze its contribution to their pay. This meant states had to pay more from their own money. Rich states could pay better. Poor states could not. So now workers doing the same job get paid differently depending on the state. So, what is a bigger problem here? The government is pulling away from its social responsibility, focusing more on budget savings and business indicators, and ignoring the dignity of essential workers. So, what should be done? The article is very clear about solutions. Legally classify Asha and Anganwadi workers as employees, bring them under the Code on Social Security, guarantee minimum wages, pension, and social security benefits. Centre and states must share the financial burden and ensure equal pay across states. The next article for the day, delimitation after 2027, redrawing power in India. So, what is delimitation? Delimitation simply means redrawing election boundaries and redistributing seats in parliament based on population. In a democracy, this is done regularly so that more people is equal to more representatives, fewer people is equal to fewer representatives. On paper, this sounds fair and routine, but in India, the next delimitation after census 2027 is a very big and sensitive issue. Now, why is this such a big deal? India has not changed the number of Lok Sabha seats for states since 1976 because the government did not want to punish states that controlled population growth. So, states are still based on 1971 population, but India's population has grown from 54 crore to about 147 crores. This freeze was extended till after 2026, and now that deadline is ending, so after census 2027, seats must be redistributed among states again, and this will shift political power across regions. So where is the problem? Population growth has been uneven. Southern and western states invested in education, health, and women's empowerment. Northern states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, population continued to grow faster. If seats are given only on population, northern states will gain many seats and southern states will lose influence. Even if they don't lose seats numerically, their share and power will reduce. So, what do the numbers show? If Lok Sabha is expanded to around 888 seats, Uttar Pradesh from 80 it will be moved to 151 seats and Bihar from 40 to 82 seats. Together, they would control over 25% of parliament. And southern states from 39, they would be increased to 53 seats, and Kerala from 20 to 23 seats. Their seats increase slightly, but their influence falls sharply. This creates a moral question. Why should states be punished for good governance? What about the government's assurance? The Home Minister said not even one seat will be reduced for southern states. But the author explains even if seats are not reduced, power is about absolute numbers. If some states gain massively, others automatically lose bargaining power. So the concern does not disappear here. Now, why is women's reservation also delayed? Delimitation will also create constituencies for 33% women's reservation, but delimitation itself will take 3 to 5 years at least. So, realistically, women's reservation cannot happen before 2034 elections. So, what solutions does the author suggest? This article lays out 6 possible options, however, they are not final answers. Option 1, extend the freeze. Delay redistribution further, keeps balance but unfair to fast growing states and it is legally risky. Option 2, increase Lok Sabha size. More seats for everyone but big states still dominate. Option 3, use a weighted formula. Not just population, also consider literacy, health, population control. Example 70% population and 30% development. Option 4, strengthen Rajya Sabha. Make it a true federal safeguard. Restore domicile requirement, reduce population dominance and possibly give states equal or tier-based representation. Option 5, split Uttar Pradesh. Divide UP into smaller states. Prevent one state from dominating the parliament. This is about federal balance, not administration. Option 6, phased implementation. Spread redistribution over 2 elections. Reduce the political shock. Now, why does this all matter for democracy? If just 2 states control 1/4 of parliament, coalition politics will change, regional parties lose influence, federal balance weakens. So, this is not just about numbers, it is about fairness, trust between states, and unity of the country. See the next article for the day, trial by social media. See, this case highlights the danger of social media acting as judge, jury, and executioner, bypassing due process and causing irreversible harm, including loss of life, while also raising concerns about women's safety, mental health, and misuse of digital platforms. See, if you take the key dimensions from this whole case, you can see that first is due process versus public shaming. Allegations were made on social media before police inquiry. Viral content created instant guilt perception and it violates the principle of innocent until proven guilty. Okay. The second point is women's safety versus misuse of platforms. Sexual harassment in public transport is real and widespread. At the same time, social media trials can destroy reputations without even verification. And suicide does not prove innocence, but public accusation is not proof of guilt. Third, mental health and dignity. Public humiliation can cause severe psychological trauma, lack of mental health awareness, and support systems. Fourth, role of the state and institutions. Failure of prompt police response to harassment complaints, clear digital ethics enforcement. So, this pushes citizens to seek online justice. The fifth one, social media ethics. Recording in public without consent. Editing, framing, and viral spread distort truth, and influencers acting as informal arbiters of justice. And the sixth is gender debate polarization. Case shifted focus from women's safety to men's right versus women's right. And this shows how sensitive issues get weaponized politically. So the ethical dilemmas in this whole case, if you take, it is ends versus means. Can public exposure be justified to deter harassment? The second is intent versus impact. Even if intent was awareness, outcome was fatal. The third, justice versus empathy. How to ensure accountability without cruelty. So, in these circumstances, what could be the way forward? See, first we have to strengthen the institutional response, like fast track harassment complaints, visible police action to restore the trust. The second is clear guidelines on digital evidence. When recording is allowed, how it should be submitted to police and not social media. Third, digital ethics and literacy. Responsible use of social media and awareness of legal consequences. Fourth, mental health support like crisis helplines and destigmatizing psychological help. Number 5, balanced public discourse. Protect women without enabling mob justice and protect men without silencing victims. See, the next article is regarding the Hazaragata grasslands. In January 2025, the Karnataka cabinet officially recognized the importance of this grasslands by declaring it a conservation reserve. If you take into the ecological importance of this grassland, the first is the biodiversity reservoir. The grasslands serve as a habitat for endangered species such as the leopard, slender loris, jackal, and various reptiles and birds. Migratory bird habitat. The area is a crucial stopover for wintering migrants from Europe, Central Asia, and the Himalayas, including the globally threatened lesser florican. The third, carbon sequestration. Grasslands play a significant role in capturing atmospheric carbon, thus mitigating the impacts of climate change. See, this article talks about the Konturuthi River. It is located in Kochi, Kerala. It is a small, tidal, and narrow waterway, often referred to as a canal, which historically connected to the Vembanad Lake system, and it acts as a part of a inland water network in that region. See, the next important thing is rupee hits again an all-time low of 92 rupees per US dollar. Just know about it. Know what will be the consequences or the implications of rupee depreciating, because an applied economy question can be asked. Gubernatorial walkouts test constitutional limits. See, we have talked about governor recently a lot of times. Here we will just take some important points and we will move on. Okay, first thing you should be knowing about Article 176 Clause 1, where the governor shall address the legislative assembly at the start of the first session each year. This you should be knowing. Second, you should know about the point told by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly. He told that governor has no independent powers and he or she performs duties and not personal functions, and they represent the people of the state, not a party or the center. Third, you should know about the key Supreme Court judgments. The first one is the Shamshar Singh versus State of Punjab. In this case, it was stated that governor cannot publicly criticize or oppose cabinet policy. Independent political stance is equal to unconstitutional, and even limited discretion is controlled by the Union Council of Ministers. The next is the Tamil Nadu governor case, where the governor's discretion cannot negate an elected government and he or she must respect parliamentary democracy. The third is Nabam Rabia case, which is in 2016, and where it was told that governor has discretion only where explicitly provided, like appointment of CM, assent or reservation of bills, Article 356 report, and dissolution of House. So Article 176 address is nothing but an executive function. So the governor must follow the aid and advice. See, regarding this article, 71 fugitives wanted by India located abroad in 24-25, highest in 12 years. See, here you should be knowing that there is a persistent gap between tracing and extradition. See, in this article, our president inaugurates Granth Kudir at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Granth Kudir is a library and an archival space with a rich collection of manuscripts and books in around 11 classical languages of India, including Tamil, Sanskrit, Kannada, and so on. Say regarding this article, diversify your fish basket, Union government advises states. See, in a recent meeting, what happened is the fishery ministries have told that the fish farmers are dependent on this white leg shrimp to a large extent. So they have asked them to diversify their fish basket, and currently the government is working on improving the indigenous breeds like Indian white prawn and giant tiger prawn. And one more thing, there is this white spot syndrome virus which destroys the forming of the black tiger shrimp. You should also know about this white spot syndrome virus. What is it? The question can be as simple as that. Okay, the next article for the day, ambitious scheme to spur next generation battery manufacturing in India hits hurdle. First, we should be knowing about this advanced chemistry cell production linked incentive scheme. See, this was launched in October 2021 and the nodal ministry is Heavy Industries, and the aim is to build domestic battery manufacturing and to reduce dependence on China. And this will support EVs and energy storage. The major focus is on advanced chemistry cells, that is lithium ion type and not lead acid batteries. See, the hurdle here is the target was 50 gigawatts battery capacity by 2026. The reality, which was given in October 2025, is 1.4 gigawatts commissioned on time. From 50, the target is 50, but in reality, it is only 1.4 gigawatts, and 8.6 gigawatts under development, but it is delayed. So only 30 gigawatts are allotted out of the 50 gigawatts auctioned, and zero incentives have been dispersed so far. So that is the reality right now. See, why this matters for India is this will slow the EV adoption and energy storage expansion, and this will also undermine Atmanirbhar Bharat and strategic decoupling from China. And the risks associated with this are missing climate and industrial targets. See, the next article for the day, India EU will upgrade ties, trade deal still in the works. See, already we have seen this in the editorial page. Right now, we'll just look into the nitty-gritty details given in this article. See, this free trade agreement is under negotiation for over 20 years and it is likely to be announced, not signed. Okay, and the sensitive issues that they are going to be discussing here are agriculture, carbon border adjustment mechanism, and services and non-tariff barriers. And agriculture is kept off the table for now. The next is the Defense and Security Partnership, which we have already discussed. The third is the Information Security Agreement, that is cooperation on secure information sharing, which is very much important for defense, intelligence, and strategic technologies. There is a Mobility Framework MOU. This covers highly skilled workers, students, researchers, and seasonal workers, and the admission numbers decided by the individual EU countries. See, you should also know about this Zapad 2025. This is a military exercises in Russia and Belarus, and India's participation is being objected by the European Union. See, other important news today are US have formally exited from World Health Organization and they have also cut the funding. See, the United States has officially withdrawn from the World Health Organization, ending its membership after months of warning from health experts that the move could hurt public health in the US and around the world. Why the US decision matters here is US is the largest single donor and this is also beyond money. However, because around 18% of the budget is given by the US and US also supports like technical expertise and data sharing, and they also serve as a leadership in this global health initiatives. See, here you should know about the basics like World Health Organization Constitution. So it happened in 1948. Then there is something known as the International Health Regulations. So it is a legally binding instrument of international law that requires countries to report certain disease outbreaks and public health threats to the WHO. And there is two types of contributions. One is the assessed contribution and the other is the voluntary contribution in the WHO. So that's all for today. Thank you all for joining.